Hi class, we are now in chapter 9, that's behavioral therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy. So I'm lumping together these two therapies because, for one, they come from the same movement, which is a reaction against humanistic existential person-centered therapies. The theory that brought behavioral and cognitive behavioral therapy is a reaction against the idea that people are completely regulated by their choices. Instead, um, we embrace, at least in these approaches, we embrace the idea that people are also shaped and determined by their environment. Uh, and I lump this one, behavioral therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy, because this behavioral movement is actually composed of three waves. Yeah. The first wave is the classical behavioral theory or therapy, which is done by the works of Pavlov, Watson, and Skinner. And this is a purely deterministic theoretical approach in therapy that uses learning as the determinant of people's psychopathology and behavior to an absolute sense. When I say that, I mean that people are purely mentally disordered because of what they have learned from the environment, regardless of their choices. But moving from that, some behavioral therapists recognize that there is a form of validity in person-centered humanistic existential therapies. And so they have combined some elements of humanist perspective with behavioral therapy, thus emerging cognitive behavioral therapy. It's like the hard behavioral therapy and the soft behavioral therapy. In behavioral therapy, we focus on a very scientific, observable, and concrete manifestation of psychological disorders and on how we could change this. In cognitive behavioral therapy, we are less positivist, more constructivist. We look at how people think about their own lives, how people narrate their own lives. What are the thoughts that frequently flow with the experiences of people and how these shape their experience of psychopathology. So, in short, it is a soft behavioral approach because it embeds humanistic phenomenological field of view. Uh, what I mean by that is uh, Gunn is the absolutist idea of environment and learning as the sole determinant of psychopathology. Now we have a recognition of the interaction of the environment and learning and the construction of the individual, the thoughts of the individual, his phenomenological field as shaping his or her own psychological health. The third wave, so there are three waves I've been telling you, diba? The third wave are mindfulness related behavioral therapies, the likes of acceptance and commitment therapy by Hayes, mindfulness based cognitive therapy by Siegel, Williams, and Tisdale, mindfulness based stress reduction by Kabat-Zinn, dialectical behavioral therapy by Marshall Linehan. Those are new wave or third wave, and they differ from cognitive behavioral therapy because in cognitive behavioral therapy we try to change the thoughts because the thoughts are the source of mental disorder. In the third wave we try to stay with them and live with them, try to become aware of them through the use of mindfulness exercises, which are translated or carried from Buddhist traditions and applied to therapy. So it's like the East meets West na model pagdating dito sa third wave na cognitive or behavioral therapy. So in this case, I would cover more of behavioral therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy. Personally, I started more inclined towards the idea of cognitive behavioral therapy with the use of uh, cognitive therapy by Model by Beck. But later on, as I was going through my research, I found that I am more inclined towards mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, which is a third wave behavioral therapy designed for depression. I went through training through the Center for Mindfulness Studies, through an online training through Center for Mindfulness Studies from Canada to fully experience what MBCT is. And it's fun. Ang challenge lang dito kaya I don't know if I've told you about this in class. Kaya ang time zone kay syempre I think there are 8 hours nga delayed. So kung mag-session mi og gabi dito sa ilaha, kadlawon diri or buntag. So was a challenge for me also. But nonetheless, let's begin our journey with behavioral therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy. What are our objectives? We begin again by defining or at least describing the view of human nature of these two approaches. And then we describe also what the therapeutic process is. The view of human nature helps us in conceptualizing. The therapeutic process tells us what are the goals, the responsibilities of the therapist, and the experience of the client, as well as the nature of the client counselor relationship. And the technical applications tells us with specific activities, experiments, or exercises that a behavioral therapist or a cognitive behavioral therapist would administer or let the client do in the session. Okay. Hmm. Let's begin with behavioral therapy. Let me just first contrast unsa bay kalahian sa cognitive and behavioral therapy. Behavioral therapy focuses on the role of learning. It is conceptually based on Skinner and Watson and Pavlov's work. Uh, the use of reinforcements, the use of associations. And so treatment modality is also focused on the use of punishments and rewards, as well as other concepts of learning. Cognitive therapy focuses on thinking. This is often neglected by behavioral therapy because behavioral therapy does not subscribe to the idea that those cannot be seen are important. Dili man nato makita ang thoughts. Kay very hardcore scientist man ang behavioral therapist. So kanang dili nato makita, dili nato siya apilon sa therapy. Pero ang cognitive therapy is saying that we're um, wasting a very vital resource in therapy here when we don't talk about people's thoughts. And thoughts or distortions in cognition are necessary vantage point for understanding why a person is suffering from a psychopathology. So, um, behavioral therapy is purely overt, concrete, observable, while cognitive therapy includes mentalization, the mental world, things that could not be directly observed. Okay, so let's begin with behavioral therapy. As I told you, the behavioral therapy is founded on the theories of operant and classical conditioning and social learning as well. And this is pioneered by the works of Skinner, Bandura, Pavlov, Watson. And thus, it follows the concepts of unconditioned stimulus, conditioned stimulus, learning by association, extinction, stimulus generalization, shaping, successive approximation, positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, positive punishment, negative punishment, and modeling. So those are concepts that are inherent. I'm not going to talk about them in detail because you've already covered that one in your theories of personality. And here we view the counseling approach using these concepts as very scientific. It is systematic and structured. We look at the person, well, in the classical sense, we look at the person now as both the producer and the product of his environment. But earlier, the person is more the product of the environment rather than the producer. But contemporary behavioral therapy has shifted its philosophy. Behavioral therapy aims to increase people's skills, to unlearn those that they have learned ineffectively, or to broaden their skills, their coping mechanism by teaching them, having them learn. Learning man siya, diba? Having them learn new ways of behaving that is more functional and more effective than what they are used to right now. Because the assumption is that people become pathological because they have learned ineffective and dysfunctional patterns of behaving in the past, or they don't know that there are also alternative ways of behaving. There are tama ba? Six ata. Six basic characteristics and assumptions. This is in addition to uh, the concepts that I enumerated when I started with this chapter. Behavior therapy is based on the principles of scientific method, which means that there is an active experimentation. The client is invited to try out and learn new skills learn new behaviors that could be used as an alternative to how they are behaving right now. The distinguishing characteristic of behavioral practitioners is that they are um, stingy about empirical evidence. Anything that is not supported by data is not used by behavioral therapists. That's why psychodynamic and psychoanalytic, which has very nil to minimal empirical support, is often scoffed at but by behavioral therapists. Behavioral concepts and procedures are consistently and regularly tested at a framework of uh, experimentation. like like before there is the therapy, there must be a measurement of the problem. While the therapy is ongoing, the progress should be measured. When the therapy is done, the progress should be measured so that it could be carried on to the daily life of the client after the sequence of therapies. Yeah, so it is revised continually. So it is a scientific method. It follows that. The second one is behavior is not limited to overt actions a person engages. Behavior also includes internal processes. This is a novel characteristic and assumption of behavior therapy. In its classical sense, they focused more on overt actions. But now there is a recognition that to look at a person as a black box where we don't see what is mentalizing inside the person's mind would miss out on important clues how a pathology has manifested. So, behavioral therapists in the contemporary sense now want to understand these internal processes equally as overt actions. There is a shift in cognitive behavioral therapy where there is more focus on internal processes rather than overt actions as a point of departure or point of administering an intervention. Behavioral therapy deals with clients' current problems and factors influencing them, as opposed to looking at the past. It is more present focused. It is not future focused, but it asks what is happening right now in the context of the individual. What are those that aggravate or mitigate the occurrence of a particular behavior? What are those reinforcers that cause the behavior to happen again? What are those punishments that cause the behavior, the effective ones, to not happen? So, behavioral therapists look at the environmental events and see whether they could produce behavioral change by changing the environmental characteristics or context of the individual. This is often called a functional assessment or behavioral analysis. Functional assessment means what are the antecedents and consequences of a behavior. Okay. Fourth, clients involved in behavior therapy are expected to assume an active role by engaging in specific actions to deal with their problems. Unlike, well, ang psychodynamic raman gud ang medyo passive jud dito ba, but the rest of the therapies that we are encountering are all asserting the necessity of the engagement of the client. Kaya dapat active jud siya in participating in the therapy. Dili tanan tubag or solution sa therapist, no? It must homework, exercises during the session must be carried out by the client, and they are transferred to other contexts so that the skill is also useful in other aspects of the client's lives. Fifth, this approach assumes that change can take place without insight. We don't need to understand why the problem is uh, happening. What is the cause of the problem? Ay, katong bata, magudyo kayong aning natabo sa iya, ing anak, charmilet, charmilet. Sa behavioral therapy, we only look at what is in the present moment. Ug unsa tong mga encourage for the behavior to happen again. Like say for depression, we don't need to understand why the behavior or the problem of depression started, but what is making the depression happen again right now? Unsay nakakapasamot, unsay nakapasustain nganong naa siya depression ng pud karon, kay normally people would come out of their depression, so nganong wala man siya nakaka-come out basin na ay features of the environment nga nung nag-retain ni siya na problema. Sixth, assessment is an ongoing process. We begin with an assessment, we do it in the middle, how our interventions are effective, and we do it at the end if the goal has been met. So assessment, because it's a scientific method, measurement is a constant activity. Seven, behavioral treatment interventions are individually tailored. These are customized depending on the needs of our clients, and they are designed for every client problem. So, combining all those assumptions that it is scientific, it uses assessment, it values both the inner and the external worlds of the client, it requires active engagement of the client and experimentation, um, and the application of learning concepts. We now believe that the reason why people form mental disorders from the perspective of behavioral therapy is that maladaptive and adaptive behaviors are acquired, maintained, and changed in the same way through internal and external events that precede or follow them. This means that behavioral conceptualization should look at what occurred before the problem behavior and what occurs after the problem behavior, and testing hypothesis to determine whether removal of what occurred before the problem behavior is a good intervention to eliminate the problem behavior, or testing the hypothesis whether removal of what comes after the problem behavior would completely eliminate the problem behavior as well. No? So we look at antecedents and consequences. Questions. I engage this kind of thinking when I ask my clients, what did you notice nga natabo before na siya nag-arise nga problem? Yan. So I'm asking about antecedents. Unsa may epekto aning problem sa imo? So those are consequences. Okay. Let's look at the therapeutic process, and we begin with therapeutic goal. The general goal of behavior therapy is to increase personal choice by broadening the skill set or the behavioral repertoire of the client. Uh, kay karon kay na-stuck man sila sa ingani lang ang ilang natun-an nga behavior, kanang kung na siya problema, mag ato lang siya sa alcohol, mag-inom lang siya. So we want them to learn other skills, learn how to cope with their behaviors, with their stresses, not limited to either alcoholism or depression. So these goals are decided both by a collaborative work of the therapist and the client at the outset of the therapeutic process. So before anything starts, it must be clear for both the therapist and the client unsa man tong i-change nila. So, muna siya ang cute aning kuan ba, aning behavioral therapy kay kinahanglan maklaro jud nimo ma-identify unsa man nimo ang ilisan. Kintahay mo ingon ang client nga naa siya depression. Unsa day ang depression para sa iya? Ang depression para sa iya ha kay magkulong siya sa kwarto. So, ang imong goal would be to reduce the number of time to reduce the amount of time spent withdrawing inside the room and increase the number of times engaged with productive activities. Ana, so naisa na siya ka goal. Dili siya nga to understand what is the early history that led to depression. Wala maing-ana ng mga charmilet. Now, very clear and concrete jud siya. Behavioral therapy. That's why assessment is necessary. Kay i-measure man nimo unsang assessment. Sa limbawa, ang imahang behavioral therapy is say anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder for example. So, ang bato na ito ma-administer og test. So, ang score niya kintahay sa God 10 is 10. Perfect score jud siya dito. That's a scale that measures generalized anxiety. So, our goal is to decrease the score, to decrease generalized anxiety, depression symptoms by decreasing the score from 10 to 5 in 1 week, for example. So, ma-follow siya atong SMART. So, may pasabot atong SMART na mga objectives. Measurable, attainable, resource, time-bound. Unsang S? Simple? Oh gosh, I forgot. Basta it follows the SMART objectives. So goals must be concrete, clear, and understood and agreed by the client. There is a psychological behavioral contracting here nga, o sige, nga nitong masabutan na goal ha. So, nga nitong mabuhaton para makabot ni nga goal. Pirmahan na itang nga ni atong buhaton. Ay sabot. So an example of goal that I wrote for a person with obsessive compulsive disorder whose compulsion is hand washing. Now, ang example na to is to decrease the number of hand washing in a day from 20 to 15 within a week by performing a relaxation exercise when the obsession arises. So there is the problem behavior, the compulsive number of hand washing. What is the change expected from 20 to 15? What is the method of achieving the goal by performing a relaxation exercise when the obsession arises? So it's very easy and very clear to see kung matabo jud na siya kaya ang pangutana lang oh sige kapila man ka nanghugas kamot karong semana ana. So madali na siya mabalaan kung naabay progress in therapy. What is it like for the therapist? Behavioral therapists conduct a thorough investigation of functional assessments, what occurs before and what occurs after the problem behavior. This is often described as the ABC model of behavioral therapy. ABC model describes or identifies the situational antecedents, the dimensions of the problem behavior, and the consequences of the problem behavior. A stands for antecedents, B stands for the problematic behavior, C stands for the consequence. This often uses a form. I'll try to upload a behavior functional analysis form in Canvas na siya ay column A. Unsa man ang behavior sa tunga? Um, let's say ang problem behavior is bedwetting every night once. So, clear siya. Bedwetting. Kasi nagkakatabo bago ang bedwetting. So, istoryahan ninyo, ay, mag-story mo plan. Ay, kanang, dili man ko usahay mag-bedwet. Na mga times na mag-bedwet ko, sa mga panahon itong mga, kasi na-observe ni mga common at mga panahon nga mag-bedwet ka. Nabantayan na ako nga kang kanang ma-stress with ko or makapoy ko, kana itong mga times nga makaihi ko, nga na. Tapos, unsa may effect sa bedwetting nimo sa imong sa imong family. Kay mag-bedwetting man ko, kinahanglan nga tagaan jud ko sa og isa ka room sa ako ang mama ug papa na jud ko kaugaling yung bed nga na so na siya secondary gain dito kay syempre pray na siya kay na siya kaugaling yung bed nga at the same time permanente pud ko makasab-an sa ako ang mama ug papa nga kaulaw pud kay dako na ba ako tus manghihip ako so those are the consequences so that is a kind of conversation that does um, an ABC model in behavioral work. And in doing a behavioral assessment interview, which I just demonstrated, the task is simply to identify what happens before the behavior and what happens after the behavior and how these three are related. So pasabot kung ang kung makaihi lang di ay ka sa imong bed kung kapuyon ka, so mag-avoid ka og mga kapoy na mga activities before sa imong bed before sa imong bedtime or kung kabalo ka nga wala nimo nalikayan ang imong exhausting na mga activities basin necessary para sa imong mangita og waterproof nga bed sheets ana or mag-wear og adult diaper ana and then consequence niya since um at natagaan ka og independent nimo nga room og independent nimo nga bed is it possible to room with your brother or your sister ana or maybe um, instead nga i-punish ka kung dili ka magbedwet what if i-reward na lang ka or i-reward ni mo kagalingon kung dili ka magbedwet yan so I'm using positive reinforcement instead of positive punishment so that's the kind of behavioral interview that is done by behavioral therapists it's different from katong ni Agi. Katong mga person-centered, gestalt, existentialist, kay daghan man ta mga hurim-hurim dito, daghan tang check about ay kay choice, mga personal, freedom, responsibility, mga ang ana ng mga hurim-hurim. Pero diri kanang klaro ra jud unsay ma-observe. Another function and role of the therapist is to be active and directive and to function as consultant and problem solvers. Oftentimes, clients would come to the therapy not knowing what the solution is. And even if you try to reflect, paraphrase, and listen actively to them, they would not think of any solution. And behavioral therapists take that as an opportunity to demonstrate their expertise as crafters of intervention and solutions. So the therapist strives to understand the function of the client behavior, where it's coming from, and what's maintaining it. These clinical, the behavioral clinical uses strategies that have research support, dili tong mga without empirical evidence. And there is a continuous evaluation of what change is occurring towards the progress that is predetermined at the outset of the therapy. So the task of the therapist, even when the sessions end or when the contract ends, when it's terminated already, is to do follow-up assessments to monitor how the client has changed maybe and has sustained kung unsa man itong mga nag-gain niya in the therapy. Okay, what is it like for the client? For our clients, behavioral therapy provides the therapist with a well-defined structure and system that they should follow. It is the application of learning skills, yeah, to solve dysfunctional learned behaviors eh, through identified through functional assessment of antecedents and consequences. So therapists are teachers because they teach skills, they provide instruction, they model, and they provide feedback. It's an experiment in a way na why don't we try this one kung last time tong niagi kay dili effective tong dili ka mag magpakapoy before ka matulog. Basin lahi mag-relaxation na lang kaya ta before ka matulog kay para makalma-kalma imong lawas di ka matulog ng kapoy kana para di ka magbedwet. So it's a regular na exchange between the client and the therapist kay monitor nila kung naay change dito sa behavior nga gusto nila gitarget niya. Katong gitarget nila na behavior. So clients could also do rehearsal, say if the problem is communicating with people because say pag abot dito sa family di siya kabalo mo express sa iyahang frustrations so ginadaog-daog lang siya sa iyahang family members, so we want to teach our client assertiveness skills, so it could be rehearsed practice on role play sila dito sa session. Unya tagaan siya og assignment. Sige daw. Kanang dili sa imong family. Try daw nimo mahimong assertive. You act as if you are assertive dito sa work or sa school. And experiment man sila na mga assignments put. So, if the client does not comply with those assignments or exercises, therapy would be pointless. That's why it is a partnership for both the client and the therapist. And these experiments give the client an opportunity to try out new behaviors, which could have, he which could eventually replace the problematic behaviors that we want to change. Yeah. Okay. What is it like between the therapist and the client? Well, the skills behavior therapist conceptualizes problems behaviorally and what? Makes use of the client therapist relationship. Um, Let me just say that contemporarily, before katong classical niya na behavioral therapy, mas medyo psychodynamic ang flavor sa relationship sa therapist and counselor, ka-client. Pero in newer versions of behavioral therapy, mas person-centered na siya. Ginagamit na nila ang therapeutic alliance because research has shown the therapeutic alliance is a fundamental aspect of therapy. While most behavioral practitioners contend that factors are factors such as the three conditions of growth, unconditional positive regard, empathy, and congruence are necessary, they are not sufficient by themselves to change behavior. There must be an active practice and problem solving for the therapist and the client for behavior change to occur. Let's look at therapeutic techniques now. Okay. So a strength of behavioral approaches is that there's a wide variety of techniques that one could use. The concepts of behavioral theory or learning theory easily yield themselves to be converted into specific exercises that the therapist could do. I remember I dealt with one client kadtong linog-linog pa nga ah, mahadlok siya og gawas bata ba. I don't know kung naingnan ta mo ani. Madlok siya og gawas, madlok siya og makulong sa room nga walay kuan, walay kada makulong sa room gud nga kay kadtong linog lagi kay panik-panik lagi so nakuratan ang bata. Nya madlok na siya mosulod og room, madlok na siya magstay sa room nga walang iyahang parents. So one of the things that we did is gihinay-hinay, ah, magdula mi dito sa cups nga abri ang door, tapos gitry nako sarado og once, nag sort of panic siya, so giabrihan nako, tapos nigawas siya, tapos ibalik na pud siya. Hangtod nga masanay siya with the idea nga katong dito sa pinakagawasa nga door ang i-close, nga na gradual siya ba nga ni anad dito sa butang nga gikahadlukan niya, no? So that's a behavioral na approach. Behavioral therapy is often described as very useful for treatment of phobias, anxiety, trauma, ingana. Mm. So behavioral practitioners use um, any technique na ay eclecticism. Pwede sila mahuram sa Gestalt, pwede sila mahuram sa cognitive behavioral therapy, reality therapy, even Adlerian. Basta mo adhere sila dito sa theoretical framework of behaviorism. Mm. O scientific gihapon siya, kanang naay evidence based. Okay, so some therapeutic techniques, the first technique that we are going to encounter is ABA or Applied Behavioral Analysis. In developmental psychology, this is popularly used for children with autism. Uh, these are operant conditioning techniques where we use positive and negative reinforcements and positive and negative punishments. You recall that positive reinforcement or reinforcement in general is anything that could make the behavior happen again. Negative punishments rather are anything that could be or consequences that could make the behavior not happen again or to prevent the behavior from happening again. So examples such as token economy, kanang na kay reward kung halimbawa smoking ang iyahang problem kay nag-smoker's cough na lagi siya so abit na siya makanser ba. So ang imuhang role as a therapist na sa hospital is to supplement katong medications niya treatment niya para sa iyahang asthma kay nagsamot iyahang asthma because of smoking. Karon ang supplement nimo is as mag-create mo og goals nga kung makayosi lang siya og ani karong semana, reward niya iyahang sarili. So pagamyon, 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 pagamyon hangtod nga ma-eliminate niya ang iyahang pagyosi. So that's a positive reinforcement na strategy. Uh, pwede po siya nga when say dealing with children nga naga-misbehave ing ana kay pabadlong. So tudloan nimo ang marag family therapy siya. Tudloan nimo ang parents nga mag-deal with problematic children's behavior. So instead of giving punishment, pwede siya nga negative punishment na lang where they deny something. They they withhold something that is considered as a rewarding. No, no, no. That's negative reinforcement. Dili tag doon. Kay para dili na pod kay oftentimes children misbehave to get attention. Okay. So these are applications of learning concepts such as extinction, which is withholding reinforcement from a previously reinforced response, such as a child throwing tantrums. Okay, na-reward man ang pagtantrums niya kay ihatag man iyahang gusto makuha kung magtantrum siya. So magtantrums lang siya sa sunod. So kung baliktaron siya, i-withhold ang reinforcement ng attention, so mawala ra pod. Although sometimes it's considered as cruel and it could foster anger and aggression from the child also. And the use of punishment is also part of therapeutic techniques of applied behavioral analysis. The next one is progressive muscle relaxation. This is a technique where um, the client is taught how to ang karon man good halimbawa makasuffer siya og anxiety ang iyahang coping is drugs for example, so you want to change that, so you offer an alternative way of coping with anxiety that could be teaching the client to relax himself or herself through progressive muscle relaxation or PMR. So pagahi, relax. Pagahi, relax. Pagahi, relax. Isa-isa. Head, neck, shoulders, stomach, hands, uh, thighs, legs, feet. Yan na. Isa-isa. Tense, relax, tense, relax, tense, relax. Kaya ang goal ato is that once ka i-tense niya, tapos i-relax niya, nga ma-feel niya, ay, ano di akong lawas kong relax. Ay, ano di ako ang lawas kong tense. So, ma-distract siya from the thoughts nga nagdagandagan about sa iyang anxiety. Balik siya dito sa iyang lawas. So, I uploaded the video in Canvas for a progressive relaxation exercise. The second one is systematic desensitization, where the client is gradually exposed to the image of a feared object. So, pwede siya i-pair with PMR. Halimbawa, mahadlok siya og ok-ok, ana. So, mag-visualize siya og naiuk-ok sa layo, naghinahinay, nagkakapaduol sa iyahang, tug magunita niyang ok-ok, hangtod sa daghang kayong ok-ok, ana. So, halimbawa, phobia na siya ba? So, there is no actual na exposure, but it's more imaginative exposure, cognitive exposure. So the point is, once the client becomes gradually desensitized, the anxious panic reaction will be lost. Kaya maanad naman siya. Ingana. So the same is true with, halimbawa, panic attacks or trauma na client nga um, gusto nimo mawalang iyahang traumatic response. So, ang iyahang trauma was happened dito sa ilahang balay because of abuse of parents and, you know. So, a part of your therapy is maagi mo dito sa ilahang balay mo. Balik mo dito sa ilahang daan na balay ba nga na ma-remember niya iyahang experiences. Pero pakitaan sa nimo siya mag-visualize siya og picture. So, mag-visualize siya nga mosulod dito. So, mag-visualize siya makig-interact. So you are gradually increasing the intensity of the feared object until the fear is lost. But of course, it must be used with caution kaya basin ma-overwhelm pod. Muna siya in exposure therapies or desensitization therapies, the client must be aware of his or her rainbow of tolerance, no? Asa lang window of tolerance ni asa ra siya taman na kaya pa. Kaya basin kung ang anxiety niya kay gina-expose nimo siya imaginatively baka ma-overwhelm sa iyang anxiety pag uli nag-commit og suicide, hala na malpractice. So asa ra taman dapat mag-identify mo og window kung asa lang taman ang kaya na dito sa tamang expose. Dili pod kaliton nga daghan kaayo exposure. Although there's a behavioral technique for that. Okay, so it must be paired with relaxation so that once the client is exposed cognitively with the feared object, the client is also taught to relax para dili po siya mahawa sa session nga nagdala og anxiety experience. Okay. The systematic desensitization is an exposure therapy. Yeah, I uploaded also a video in Canvas showing you an actual demonstration of, I think that's an in vivo exposure therapy for cockroaches. Ang in vivo is pina-live jud siya kanang ipakita jud sa imo ba in reality ang katong butang nga gikadlukan nimo ana madlo kag damang maghinahinay mag-picture sa mag-imagine sa tapos picture tapos video tapos damang sa layo nga nakakulong tapos damang nga wala nakakulong sa layo tapos damang nga dool nga nakakulong hangtod sa gunitan sa client hinahinay siya no, that's in vivo exposure. Flooding is the opposite of in vivo a gradual exposure. It's the sudden. Daghang damang kaayo nga ana. Kaya para mawa dayon ng iyahang kahadlok, of course, there's ethical considerations with that. It could create an overwhelming level of anxiety. So it must be used with caution. And the therapeutic alliance or the trust between the therapist and the counselor must be strong enough to hold through the anxiety. Okay. One of the newer developments in behavioral therapy is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. In eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, the assumption is that for people who are traumatized, this is usually for trauma. What happens is that there is a hypoactivation of their left, hyperactivation of their right, right, uh, right brain. Right brain. Yeah, the right brain. So there's an increase in size, increase in action potential, firing rate, increase in neurochemical production, etc., etc. There's a hemispherical imbalance. So eye movement desensitization is nga naon siya, sunod-sunod ni iyahang mata samtang naga-narrate siya sa iyahang experience. Kay ang assumption is samtang naga-narrate man gud ang uban ng mga tao or samtang ginadumdum nila ang ilang traumatic experience, ma-store lang siya sa isa ka side sa brain ba. So negative emotions lang ang ma-associate niya. So gusto nato nga ma-whole brain experience, ma-whole brain activation ang recalling of the memory. So katong left right na movement, maglihok-lihok man iyahang mata sa ma-activate ang iyahang left and right uh, hemispheres. So while recalling that, magkaroon na karon og dual activation sa iyang hemisphere. So ma-distribute na tong load sa traumatic memory to the left and the right brain. So it will decrease the anxiety also. Pwede siya visual, pwede siya sound, pwede siya touch, pwede gani VR, Oculus, ana, lihok-lihok siya. Mm-mm. So I also uploaded a video example for this one. You can watch this. Although I've trained for this with a faculty from UST for a long time ago, wala pa jud na ako siya na-try for trauma. I'm more partial to the idea of TFCBT for trauma in the whole body. But anyway, so eye movement desensitization is a combination of cognitive structuring by activation of both sides of the hemispheres of the brain when recalling traumatic memories. Other behavioral techniques are social skills training. Since clients come to us with very poor skills in interacting with other people, we try to teach them new skills such as anger management training. We try to teach them new ways of expressing their anger without it becoming an explosive outburst or assertion training so that they will not be exploited by other people. An offshoot of behavioral therapy is multimodal therapy by Arnold Lazarus. This is a comprehensive, systematic, and holistic behavioral therapy developed which follows the framework of basic ID. So it is more unsa ba? Theory rather than technique, no? Ang kumbaga kaning basic ID mao ni siya mga areas nga explore nimo sa imong client para mas masabtan nimo. Katong sa behavioral functional analysis manggod. ABC lang ta, antecedent behavior consequence. Sa basic ID natay BASIC. B stands for behavior. What is the behavior? The affective responses, what are the emotions that go with it? Sensations, what is the feeling in the body? What is the tone in the body? Images, what are the pictures that run through one's minds? Cognitions, what is the self-talk? How does the dialogue inside the mind happen? Interpersonal relations, what's the effect of the problem behavior towards the relationships of individuals? Are there drugs or biological functions or physical symptoms that are affected in ANA? So it's more technical eclecticism, which means that pwede ka mo gamit og techniques from Gestalt, pero ang ways of asking or investigating or interviewing the client is framed with multimodal basic ID na approach. You ask questions about basic ID. The third wave behavioral therapy that I have been talking about are also offshoots of behavioral therapy. The first one is dialectical behavioral therapy by Marshall Linehan. This was originally developed for borderline personality disorder, but has been proven to uh, be translatable to anxiety, suicidal behavior, depression, panic attacks, and all other and a wide sort of range of mental disorders. So, the dialectical behavioral therapy teaches four skills. The first one is mindfulness. Once the individuals learn to stay with the body and learn to be with the experience without judgment, yeah, then the individual is more prepared to deal with problems with interpersonal difficulties. How can one of the issues individuals with psychological disorders magkasamot ilahang problem is because they lack the interpersonal effectiveness. Di sila kabalo mangita og tabang sa ubang tao ba. Kay either paminaw nila, burden lang sila, or kay sa una naingnan na sila nga gi-reject na ang ilahang seeking for help. And, so we teach them how to build effective relationships. But that's not always the situation. They also have to deal with their own emotions. Emotional regulation is more on changing, distracting themselves. No, there's a list of distract. I'm a supporter of dialectical behavioral therapy. There's a list of distracting activities. Kung anxious na ka, ay di maghugas sa kag plato, manglabas ka. Dili man necessary nga, you listen to your anxiety. But nga na jud na mga drama-drama. No, dili man siya necessary. Sometimes you have to be behaviorally activated. You do something else. And then you come back to the feeling, you're more prepared to confront with the feeling. But there are also other times where you could not regulate your emotion. And this is the time where you have to tolerate them. How to sit with your feelings, how to to be with your distress. And so these are the four skills of um, dialectical behavioral therapy. This is an advanced behavioral therapy which we don't often cover in undergrad mga levels. In fact, in masters, this is rarely even discussed. Well, at my time at least. The next one is mindfulness-based stress reduction. This one is an application of Buddhist principles in responding to stress. This is a 6 or 8 session, 8 week treatment developed by John Kabat-Zinn in the University of Massachusetts, initially to treat people who are sick and experiencing stress to cope with their disease. So later on, it was found that kuha siya, like, session 1 begins with na raise and exercise, magkaon mo, tapos usahay man gud kay wala talaga ka enjoy kay wala na to gina-enjoy. Wala talaga focus tong kaon ba basta subo-subo na lang ana. So mindful eating, enjoying what you eat, smelling it, the texture, the taste, the diversity of flavors, etc. ana. And then the next is body scan. You scan your body from your head to your lapa-lapa. And there's a certain resonance with mindfulness-based cognitive therapy or MBCT developed by Sigal Williams and Tisdale. It's actually when uh, Sigal Williams and Tisdale were developing MBCT, they talked with Kabat-Zinn kung unsa ang buhaton nila, how what is mindfulness kay they were thinking na cognitive therapy magud ilang approach. Then it was developed to treat relapsing depression kanang chronic na depression. So this is based on mindfulness-based exercises combined with cognitive therapy to treat and prevent relapsing and chronic depression. Mm-hmm. I remember one of the exercises that we did in this class kay kanang body scan for 40 minutes kay i-scan nimo ang imuhang body, magsugod ka sa imuhang ulo, tapos i-feel nimo imuhang agtang, your brows, whatever is with your brows, your eyes as they stay in your socket, your cheeks, your nose, ana. 40 minutes na body scan. Kantong first is ko nagtry ano, ano, kadugay ba mahuman ani magsigong tanaw og watch. But eventually you learn to do it with and without guidance. I included the mindfulness exercise from MBCT that I learned in Canvas. I encourage you to do that. It's a 3-minute breathing space. I do that when I am stressed, aside from my yoga naman po, mindful movement. Yeah. Mm. And then acceptance and commitment therapy is If you can, there are things that you cannot change. You have just to accept them. Radical acceptance ngayon si Hayes, si Stephen Hayes. So, nga no magpa-stress pa ka kung dili man nimo ma-change, so you accept them and then you let them go as obstacles by going back to your body. Everything is passing, nothing is here to stay, nothing is permanent. You can allow yourself to be sad because sadness is not going to stay. Sadness is not forever. Yan na. So it is the cultivation of psychological flexibility through the Hexaflex. It's a hexagon of psychological flexibility. It's a set of skills that is taught in acceptance and commitment therapy to allow individuals to become more flexible. Okay, so the next chapter would be cognitive behavioral therapy, but let me just summarize. Behavioral therapy uses learning concepts from classical and operant and social learning theories to apply it to therapy. The therapy is driven by a concrete change in behavior through empirically guided scientific manner of experimentation to teach the client to broaden their repertoire of behavior. The cause of psychopathology is because client learned dysfunctional behavior or the current behavior is not effective in dealing with current problems. So the goal is to change this behavior through the use of different techniques such as exposure therapies, systematic desensitization, social training, social skills training, stress inoculation training, eye movement desensitization, among others. But there are also third wave behavioral therapy approaches aside from um, Lazarus's multimodal basic id therapy. In the third wave behavioral therapy, we encountered Marshall Linehan's dialectical behavioral therapy, Kabat-Zinn's mindfulness-based stress reduction, Segal, Tisdale, and Williams' mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, and Stephen Hayes' um, acceptance and commitment therapy. What is common about this third wave behavioral therapies is the use of mindfulness, acceptance, and relaxation as a tool for dealing with psychological disorders. Okay, the next part of this lecture would be cognitive behavioral therapy. If you have questions, I'll save them in Canvas. Thank you.